Guys, and welcome to the Epsilon Consulting Group. We are a team of international graduates of the world's top universities who assist you in getting admission into the world's top universities. This video is for those students who are planning on applying to Oxford and Cambridge in the upcoming cycle. So if you happen to be an A-levels or sixth form or IB or a high school student who is looking to apply to Oxford or Cambridge at the undergraduate level, then this video is for you. So we've been getting a lot of inquiries recently from a lot of students who come to us and say, you know, I would really like to apply to Oxford and Cambridge, but I have absolutely no idea what to do, where to begin. I have no one in my family who went to Oxford or Cambridge. I really don't know anyone. Where should I begin? And so we thought it'd be helpful that if we made a video to sort of guide you through the process. So I think the first step and the obvious step is to start looking at the websites. So just Google Oxford or Google Cambridge, and you'll be able to see the websites of Oxford and Cambridge. Now, a big question that students have is that how do I select between the two different universities? They're both so good, and I wish I could get accepted to both of them. And the reality is that you can only apply to one, and you have to make a decision at the application stage of whether you are willing to apply to Oxford or Cambridge. And we'll be doing a separate video, and I think we also have a panel discussion on, you know, how to decide between the two universities. But a few things that will sort of help you along the way is just look at the different course offerings, the programs that they offer, you know, which university attracts you more. You know, there's so many things that, you know, and once you sort of start looking at the websites, I think most students tend to get an inclination of whether they will like Oxford more or Cambridge more. And the next stage is to sort of select a program. And the way you do it is that you look at the different programs on the university's website and take out the prospectus of that. So the prospectus will have all the information in terms of the courses, in terms of the professors, in terms of other details. And that will give you a really good idea about whether that program is something that you like or not. Program selection can be a bit complicated because for some students, the answer is going to be, it's going to be very straightforward, right? Some students will come to us and say, you know, I want to become a doctor and I would like to study medicine, whether that's at Cambridge or Oxford or any other university. For some students, it's like, you know, we really don't know what we want to study. We are kind of interested in economics or theology. We don't have an idea about what we want to do in our life, but, you know, that's what we want to spend the university years figuring that out. And I think both those propositions are valid. It's perfectly fine to be in either camp. And the way you sort of select the program is, again, you look at the university website, you look at the courses that they're offered and the professors that they have, and, you know, you'll get a feel of whether you like that course or not. So once you have sort of made a mind about the university and you have selected the course, the next stage is college selection. And again, college selection can be a daunting process because there's a lot of stuff out there and a lot of people will say a lot of things about the college selection process, from, you know, it doesn't matter at all to it's the most important thing at Oxford and Cambridge. And I think there's merit to, you know, all of those arguments. But sort of at the initial stage, what you do is you start by looking at whether the program that is being offered, that you have chosen, that interests you, is that being offered at your college, and that will sort of narrow down your list. And then a few things to look at is sort of the alumni of the college, the student body of the college, the diversity of the college, the location of the college within the city, and the activities that the college has. So those are sort of good considerations. And then every college will also have a prospectus. So you should you should start to take a look at that, and that will also give you a good feel of whether you like the college or not. So yeah. So once you've done all that selection phase, the next thing is to start really working on your application, and start by the personal statement. Look, the personal statement to Oxford and Cambridge is something that you can't really do in a day. Like, trust me on this, not a week or even 2 weeks. It's going to take a lot of effort, time, and energy to get your personal statement at a level that is required by Oxford and Cambridge. Just trust me on this. This is sort of the requirement of the university. So it's going to take you a lot of time, and the earlier you begin, the better it is. And that will give you enough time for you to send it over for review to your professors, to your friends, to other people that you know. So once you've sort of started working on the personal statement, then also start thinking about the other application material that's required by Oxford and Cambridge. Look, the application is a pretty daunting process, and it is a pretty competitive process, and the seats are limited. But it's also very rewarding if you are able to graduate from two of the oldest universities, or one of the two of the oldest universities in the world. So the other things that the application requires are the test. And the test will vary depending on the university you've selected and the course you've selected. So for example, the law test at Oxford is different from the law test at Cambridge. Similarly, the test for medicine is different for the test for land economy or engineering. So take a look at what the test is required, and then start, get a book on it, or Google, just start thinking about the test. And in due time, start preparing for that, because it is an essential component of that of the application. Then, in addition to sort of your personal statement and your test, you have supplementary applications. Those could vary. So depending on the college you've selected and the course you've selected, that might include academic papers that you have completed in your high school or sixth form that you need to submit as part of your grading. It could be other things, and that will depend on, again, so the requirements will be listed, and it's good to make a mental note of those things, and it will help you sort of keep your nerves calm and eliminate the anxiety that you'll feel towards closer to the deadline if you can get these things in order. So the personal statement, the test, and the supplementary application form. And then in addition to that, then you should really start thinking about the interview as well. So if your academic grades are good and you have written a really good personal statement, the chances are that you would be invited for the interview at Oxford and Cambridge. And a lot of sorting out happens at that stage. So we see a lot of really, really good candidates who were well deserving of Oxford and Cambridge do not get into the university. And so it's a good thing to start preparing early, and we'll be doing a separate video on how to sort of battle the Oxford and Cambridge interview process. Again, it's not a very easy thing to do, but for now, I think what is advisable is to sort of start really thinking about the interview process and doing a wider reading of the subject area that you've chosen, and that will sort of keeping up to date with the research that's happening in the field about sort of the big research that's been happening will be really helpful for your interview. The other things that I would like to suggest to students, and I think they are important, is that you should, if you can, try to visit Oxford and Cambridge. Now, I don't know how feasible that is because of the COVID situation, and also if you do not reside in EU or Europe, it could not be very feasible. But it's if you can, and if you are around the area, or people will be watching this video, a few years from now, on holiday on the UK, you should really try to get a day trip to Oxford and Cambridge, and it will give you a really good feeling about the university. And I think it will be also fairly inspiring for you to work really hard so you can get in and make a really good application. But it's and a lot of universities, a lot of these colleges, and sometimes even programs would have open days where you can go, and professors will be leading that, or sometimes students will be leading that, and it's a good way to get a good feel about the college and the program that you've selected. And lastly, what I suggest is that talk to someone who has been through the process. So someone that of, a friend, a family friend, maybe an alumni of your school who has been to Oxford or Cambridge, and if not, then maybe some student volunteer. So I was a student volunteer at Wolfson, and I spoke to hundreds of students when I was there. And again, these conversations are not going to be like dedicated, tailored advice for your admission cycle, but it will give you a good idea about sort of what is expected and what is required. And those conversations can sometimes, be helpful. Okay, so I think that is some food for thought and something for you guys to go off with. And we'll be making future videos to assist you during the admission process cycle. If you have any questions or comments, please drop them in the comment section below or email us at our website, and we will try our best to address them. All the best.